Hey, welcome everybody. Hey, welcome to another edition of Sketchnote Boss. And so now we're done with our challenge, but we are not done sketchnoting. I have tons and tons of ideas on growing our faith next year using sketchnoting. So stay tuned, keep coming back, and then share ideas that you guys have. So I'm Marsha Baker. My website is Bless Inks, and you can find me at blessinks.com. You can also join our Facebook group. There, it's easy for me to say, at Sketchbook Boss. You can find that. And you can also find me on YouTube at Marsha Baker, and you can just look for this logo with my little M with the baker's hat. So someday I will tell you why my last name of Baker is pretty funny, because can't cook. Anyway, let's get on today's challenge. So today's challenge is we are going to do a Thanksgiving Gratitude Garland, which I got to tell you is like totally outside of my wheelhouse. It was inspired by Connie Denninger. And so Connie and Pat are two just awesome ladies that I was so blessed to meet earlier this year. They started Visual Faith Ministries, and they have a ton of projects that will help you grow your faith visually. I am a visual faith coach for them. So anyway, you might want to check out that website. And from time to time, I will be referencing them and doing posts for them and such. So anyway, you might want to check them out. But today we're going to do a gratitude garland. So here is Connie's gratitude garland. And the reason that I love this project is, I want to be visual in my faith. And another big, huge tenet of why I do what I do is to remember. God just wants us to remember all his amazing blessings. And there is just no better project in my mind, especially around Thanksgiving, than this to document all your blessings. So what Connie's done is she's just taken some yarn and some rope and kind of tied them together. And then this is like the culmination of 10 years. So she has lots of littles, and so she adds a new picture every year of her littles. And so I will put the link to her video. She's got a short 4-minute video that she introduces this project and how to do it and things you might want to use to consider. So I'm going to have you watch that video today, and then tomorrow we're going to add to it with sketchnoting and very, very simple, 2 easy projects to help decorate our tags. So tune in and we'll get that done. So, but I just want to get back to, this is not just oh, how fun, let's just do this little craft project, but this is really a heritage project. So over the years, you just keep adding to it and adding to it. And, and as your kids get older, they can look back and you can just see all your abundant blessings. And I just think it is so important that we remember what God has done. I don't ever want to be accused of having spiritual amnesia. That's why I journal. Have an art journal, which we'll talk about in a couple of weeks, because I'd really like you to start a life journal with me next year. So just have a book, and then we can just document every time we see the Lord's hand in our life. So we will talk about that later, but I just want to show you this is what we're doing. So, and if this doesn't speak to you at all, that's fine. I still have, don't tune out yet. I still have another sketchnote challenge for you in this video. So stay tuned really quick. So, all right. So we did this Sunday before last, and we had a blast. And so tomorrow I'm going to show you how to use this technique right here to do these tags. So you have a nice background of tags, and then we can get a big black marker, or actually if you're using a darker paint, just a white piece of chalk was just amazing to write on these tags. So stay tuned tomorrow, and I will show you how to do that. So here's an example of what we did. I know you can't really see, but I just thought it was so great with the dog. But these tags say blessed, and I will find a better picture of that and show you that. But she did like dark blues, and then she just took chalk and did blessed. But just starting out, it's not nearly as full as Connie's, because she's been working on it for 10 years, but over time it's going to get fluffy. So here's another example. So Kat and I attended the Ultimate Bible Journaling Retreat in Mansalona, Michigan with Monica from the Bright Bible. And so this is Kat's garland. So she's used stamps and scrapbook paper, and then she's taken some fabric here and just kind of made a little more fluffy to get her garlands done. So so it's just this is again one of those projects where there's no rules. You don't have to do it exactly this way. You just do it whatever way makes sense to you to get your garland. And I'll show you what mine looks like tomorrow. So okay, let me get back to you. So these tags, I'm sure you're like, where do I get these tags? And on the Visual Faith Ministries, so Visual Faith Ministries, and then go to projects and go to seasonal, and you will find this project. So I will have the link in my blog post and put it on the Facebook group and YouTube. But just in case you can't find it, it's Visual Faith Ministries, projects, seasonal, and it will be under there. So she has a link for these tags, but it's like $33 for like 1,000 of them, and you may not need 1,000. So and Thanksgiving's next week, so we don't have time to order all those. So what I did is I designed a printable for everybody. So I have a page of each one of these size tags, and then a page of all these tags, and then I have leaves, so you could color those in. I think my printable is like 10 pages long, so you can get that on the members only page. So if you are not a member of my newsletter, go to blessinks.com and just sign up for the newsletter. You will get a confirmation email, and in that confirmation email that will say, here's the link to the members only page, and then you can get all the printables that are on that page. So anyway, so this is 10 pages long. So I would print this out on cardstock. So I think if you had a couple of sheets of cardstock and just printed this out, it's going to be a lot cheaper than going out and buying tags. So hopefully that's going to be a blessing for you. So, but here's my challenge, because we are Sketchnote Boss. We are Sketchnote Bosses, right? And so no Thanksgiving is complete without icons for Thanksgiving, right? So here is my icon page. So I am challenging you. So the number one challenge for the Thanksgiving is to come up with an icon page. I came up with 20 items. How many can you come up with? So I'd like you to do, label it nicely like this. And so this was really fun. I kind of liked doing that raised middle bar there with my N's and my A's. I probably should have done my G's too, but I wasn't 100% consistent. I did better on that G. But come up with a page and post that in the Facebook group. I'd love to see your icons. I'd like to see what icons I didn't think about and what I could add to my sheet. And so, because some of you ask about coming up with an icon library. So I'm trying to think about how to do that. So if you would continue to post your icons in the Facebook group, that's going to help me out to figure out how I can best organize that. So anyway, so there's your number one challenge. So if you don't do anything else, if you're not excited about the garland, which is fine, do a page of Thanksgiving icons. So there's your first challenge, because next week we're going to build on this sheet and do more things with it. I've got a list of like 12 things that we can do with this icon page. So stay tuned, because I might have more by the time I get the video done. So a way that I added little fullness to my garland was I took these littler tags, and then I just drew some of those little Thanksgiving icons. And then, I think over the years, I'll probably just leave them, and then just if I ever blessed with have littles, so you could be praying for that someday, that Lord would bless me with littles, that I would probably just hang their picture a little lower and go from there. So what do we need? So to get this project started, we're going to use 3 lengths of twine, yarn, or string. So I'm just going to all right, there we go. I'm going to flip back and forth here. So I had 2 pieces of fluffy yarn, and then I used this jute, but it is a little stiff. So I wasn't really sure. I would maybe use like 2 of each of these, 2 of each of this versus this strong, because really you're not going to hang any weight on it, so you don't really need the girth here. So this was a little stiff in my opinion. So what I did was I took all the 3, tied them together, and then I took another length of this and tied a loop on it, so I have a quilt rack hanging on the wall, so I could just hook it on either side of the quilt rack. So I'll show you mine tomorrow, but that's how we get it started. So now you've got this length of around 4 feet. You kind of need to measure. You don't want your drape to be too low, but I just did mine about 4 feet. So you got to get a nice little, curve, and then just tie them together on each end. And if you wanted to braid them, you could certainly do that. Or if you wanted to just go and then tie another knot, in the middle, something like that, you can. But I just kind of left mine all three just kind of hanging. And then I started hanging things off of them. So the other thing that I want to recommend, if you want to get started, is when you tie your tags on, don't tie them directly on tight onto the 3 strands. You could actually tie them onto 1 strand, you could tie them onto 3, but see, I left mine sort of loopy so I could move them where it makes sense, because I tried to tie, I did the word thankful on mine in the middle, and I first tied them all, and I ended up cutting them off to be able to do these loops so I could kind of slide them for better placing, so you could actually read the whole word thankful. So anyway, but I'll go over this again tomorrow. And then this is Kat's again, and so another thing that I did, and she's done her a lot more fully, is I took like 1 inch ribbon and I cut strips of like maybe I don't know, I'll have to measure like 4 or 5 inches, and just tied little knots and tied them all between my little tags to keep my tags in place, and that gave it a much more fuller look. So that's just something optional. So let me just go back to the list. So I did the word thankful, but you might want to do your family's name, like the Bakers. Or you could do the Bakers, but people might think that was really weird. So you might want to do your name instead of the Bakers. So on these cards, so I'm going to just show you a really simple paint technique. Doesn't require any brushes. Can't mess up, I promise. And so I got that technique from Linda Coomer from Faith Reflections, and I will share her information tomorrow. So we're just going to put the paint on with an old credit card or a piece of plastic, some cardboard, or maybe even a plastic knife might work just fine too. So again, this whole project should be things that you have around the house, and you don't need to go buy anything. So it should not be anything you have to spend any money on. If you have any watercolor paints or like a little spray bottle, we can make a little ink spritzer. It's another way to make a really nice background on some of those tags. Frog or washi tape would be great to tape some of those tags down, especially for the watercolor. You don't really need to do it for the acrylic paints. Pictures of your family, scissors, and a glue stick, or double-sided tape, or glue gun, whatever works. And then optional things, if you have ribbon or scrap fabric, if you have silk flowers or leaves, scrapbook paper. I was thinking about doing beads. I didn't get enough time to do it done. Stamps or some of those distressed ink pads might be fun. Let's see, a big thick black marker or white chalk marker, or just a piece of chalk, and then just a regular black marker if you're going to do little icons. So those would be things that, and actually I would think that these black markers, if you want to do a thankful, those would not be in the optional. Those would be you probably need those more than probably more in the required section. Anyway, so hopefully now you got the list of everything you need. So, and also I was thinking this would be so this is a bulletin cover I did for Mother's Day. But what do you do with some of those projects that are on the refrigerator? Would this not be a great opportunity to take some of those, cut them up, and put them on the front of the tags? So just thinking that might be a great way to remember some of the awesome art that your children have done, is to take them off the fridge. Anyway, I kind of talked about this already. So just want to do your 3 tags, and then make sure that your tags can move. So anyway, if you don't do anything else, do the Thanksgiving icons, and I will have another project for you next week. So I'm working on a video to show you how to actually do the paint, the 3 techniques. I'm going to show you 4 different cards tomorrow. So I'm going to show you the 2 paint techniques, and maybe using washi tape, and then doing the icons, and to hang on your gratitude garland. And so tune in tomorrow. if you're going to make a gratitude garland. And otherwise, on Monday, I will have a project specifically using our sketchnoting skills and using our Thanksgiving icons. So if you don't do anything else, your challenge is to do a Thanksgiving icon page. And I can't wait to see what you do and post it in that Facebook group or send me pics. Anyway, hope you're having an amazing November. I am having an amazing November. So I will talk to you tomorrow. Blessings.